Hello students, in this lesson we are going to learn about the second question. Which of my piece is least active? You find out the least active piece in your position and try to improve it. You find an ideal square for that piece where that piece will become very active, and then you find a way, you create a plan to put that least active piece to that ideal square. It will give you a plan for next few moves. Let's look at an example. In this position, you can notice that queen is active. It is putting pressure on b5 and d6. Your rooks are also active and your bishop is also pretty active. But if you look at this knight, it is not doing much compared with other pieces. It is the least active piece. Why? Because this square is covered and this square is covered, this square is blocked by its own pawns. So knight cannot go forward. It is not doing anything. So you need to find a better square for your knight. Knight is the least active piece and you need to find a way to improve it. And now, what is the ideal square for the knight? Take a look at this d5 square. If you eliminate opponent's knight and you put your knight on d5, then your knight will become super powerful. Remember, knight in the center is a monster. Your knight will become very powerful if you manage to put it on the d5 square. So first thing is obvious, you need to get rid of this knight so that d5 is not controlled by opponent's knight. First move, you place bishop cross b6, rook cross b6. And now you think, how do you bring your knight to the d5 square? And you will find out that knight can go to f1, then knight can go to e3, then knight can go to d5. So you have a plan for next few moves. And that's what white played in the game. White played knight f1. Black played bishop e7 and white went knight e3. Black played bishop h4 attacking the rook, but white ignored it. White played knight d5. White completed his mission and he's threatening the rook. So if black takes our rook, we take opponent's rook. Rook b8 and we can win a pawn. That's why here black played rook b7. And now we can save our rook. We play rook to b1. And now notice, the knight on g3 was not doing much. But knight on d5 is super active. This is how you create a plan. This is how you think about a position. You find a least active piece, find an ideal square for it, and think how you can take that piece from a bad square to a good square. Here in the position, black played queen c8 and white played king h2. White wants to play g3 and kick this bishop away from h4. Black played queen d8, you play pawn g3, bishop g5, and now white played pawn to a4. White is breaking on the queen side. Black played a cross b4 and you play rook cross b4. This pawn is under attack. Black plays queen b8 and white plays queen b1. Black still cannot play b cross a4 because of rook cross b7. That's why white played rook a to a7, protecting it. And now you play pawn to a5. You get a passed pawn on the a file. Your threat is to further play pawn to a6. Once the rook moves, then you can capture the b5 pawn. So black plays rook a6 and protects from this threat. And now white has c4. Again, black cannot play b cross e4 because of rook cross b7. So black goes bishop d8. Rook cross b5, rook cross b5, c cross b5, and black takes pawn rook cross a5. After rook cross a5, bishop cross a5, you can play pawn to b6. You have a strong passed pawn on the 6th rank, which is protected by the knight and the queen. Now your plan is to play queen b5, queen can go to a6, a7, and it will be very easy for you to make a queen. So black resigned in this position. Now let's look at one more example. In this position, you are white And if you look at this knight is not doing much. It is attacking its own pawns. But you have a very good square for this knight. Look at the c5 square. If you can manage to put your knight on c5, it will become very powerful and strong. Opponent cannot kick this knight away from c5. So how do you put your knight from c2 to c5? And the answer is you play bishop to f1. It's a temporary retreat. You are taking your bishop back only temporarily. And the reason is you want to use this d3 square for your knight. Your plan is to play knight e1, then knight d3, then knight c5, and mission complete. Black played rook c7. White played knight e1, black doubles, you play knight d3, and black also improves his knight, and you go knight c5. And look, this knight is so beautiful and powerful on c5. Compare it with this c2 knight. The knight on c2 was not doing anything. But once it reaches on c5, it is very active and it is attacking the opponent's queen, opponent's pawn. So black has to be careful. Black plays queen e7, and now white has a tactical shot. White plays knight cross b7. If black plays rook cross b7, then you play bishop cross a6, skewering this rook, and you will win material. That's why here black played knight cross d4. After rook cross e7, you just bring your knight back. And what you got out of this? There is a weakness on a6. Your knight and bishops are attacking it, and black cannot prevent it. So black founds rook cross e5, and you cannot play b cross e5 because of knight b3 fork. So you play queen cross d4. After rook c6, protecting the pawn, you play b5, a cross b5, and now look, you have a powerful pawn on the a file. You don't even have to capture the b5 pawn. You can immediately start pushing this pawn. You play a6, rook c8, and white plays queen b6. White wants to play queen to b7. After queen cross b7, a cross b7, rook b8, you will play rook a8 and make a queen. This is white's threat. So black plays queen f8, and white goes a7, and in this position black resigned, because after rook a8 you can play bishop cross b5, then you will play bishop c6 and you will win the rook. So black is lost in this position. So whenever you found yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do, ask yourself, which of my piece is the least active? You identify that piece, and then you identify an ideal square, a good square for that piece, and then you think, how do I take my least active piece and put it on the ideal square? That will give you a plan for next few moves. It will improve your position, and at least you will know what to do. Now let's go to the next question.